Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to the stream.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have a preferred alias to go by?
Just Pixel, I guess. Yeah.
Pixel? Okay, can do. Pixel, is there anything that I should know about your game before I get started?
Left click to like add carts and right click to sell them. A lot of
So,
people get confused on that.
no problem. Here, we could probably just reduce the audio. I guess I have to relaunch volume controller. One. Sorry about the loud audio, everyone. There we go. Okay. So, Pixel, I will go ahead and start asking the stream questions if you're up for it.
Yep.
All right. So first of all, how did you decide on what you're going to make for the jam?
We were in a team of three, so like we thought of everything that the theme joined together could go into, and one of those themes was trains.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just started from there because we couldn't really think of any better ideas like that other people were going to do.
Oh, yeah. Like, what is this? Left click is put thing in cart or take thing out of cart. What is
Left
this
click
supposed
would
to
be
be?
to add the turret, and then right click would be to add an
Oh,
empty cart, and so on.
okay, okay. This is a little too abstract. I'm glad you were here to explain it to me.
Yeah. I think teaching the mechanics is the biggest struggle with this game.
Yeah. So, and are there any other controls other than left and right click and scrolling?
No.
Okay. So what's this move on the right hand side here?
You can use the arrow keys to control the cart more like accurately, so to
Okay, okay.
speak.
All right. Um, so yeah, you were working together with a team of three. How did you settle on what your idea was going to be? Was it just a like iterative process?
We went for a couple ideas, but we just instantly decided on that idea because of time restrictions, and like we didn't want to argue too much.
Ah, I see. Okay, so this one is the cart, and then I should be moving it to the mine to get gold, and then I have to move it back along the track. All right, and then I have to drop the money off the bank to get money. All right. Yeah, I see. You got to specifically sit here for a little while, and then I can add. How much does it cost to build a new one? Is that 400?
400.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Just the fact. I would really recommend if the UI was just like 4 pixels taller, then you could add a little bit of buffer space around the edge of the numbers, because otherwise the outline effect on the text makes it a little hard to see.
Yeah, I see. We'll probably do that for an update.
Yeah, just a, I feel like you're probably getting feedback like this already, but anyway, we can move on to our next question, which is, what was your development process like for the game?
We were constantly busy. Like we didn't really take any breaks. One of us was always like doing the art or doing music. The programmer was probably the busiest.
Okay, and you were just like coordinating your efforts over Discord?
Yes.
Nice. So, can you recommend a useful shortcut or a clever hack that you would want others using the Godot engine to know about?
Personally, I can't really respond because I wasn't the programmer on the team. I was just the artist.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I should have asked first and
No,
foremost
it's
what your
fine,
role
it's
in the
fine.
project was. So I recognize that. I think. Did you use? Do you know if your team used BFXR to make the sound effects?
Yes, we did. It was really, really helpful.
Yeah, I've used it a lot for my projects as well. All right. Well, maybe you can tell me a little bit about the process for the art in that case. Like, it doesn't have to be anything about construct specifically. Like, what was your process for creating the different, well, the animated portions of the game and the static elements? Like, I assume the train track and the other elements here are like a tile set, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We really just like learned how to do tile sets last minute, which went well, fortunately. But
Good.
as for like how we did VR was I'll just draw the assets, then I'll check it with the team, and if they're happy with it and they didn't want any changes, we'd just implement it. Um, and then towards the end of the jam, I just went up and polished a lot of the assets.
Nice. So you had a little bit of time to like release. I'm guessing like the hat falling animation is an example of the polish.
Hmm.
All right. So is there any particularly interesting shortcuts that you could recommend? I'm assuming. Sorry, did you say you used iSprite for the pixel art?
Yeah.
Are there any shortcuts for using iSprite that you wrote that would like to recommend? Would like to recommend?
Um, well, I learned how to use Sprite one day before the jam, so I can't really. Well, I shouldn't give advice because
That's fine.
I'm not really competent yet.
Well, in that case, what did you use to make artwork before iSprite?
Paint Tool Sci, if you've heard of it.
No, actually, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, you can actually use it for pixel art, and it's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, because someone jumping into a pixel art program for the first time does not necessarily make art that looks this good. So I had a feeling that you had at least some amount of experience.
Yeah, thank you, by the way.
Absolutely. I just clicked on this little. What
Yeah,
did
that
do?
means you upgraded it.
Oh, okay, so it can hold more?
Hmm.
Okay, well, that's going to be useful. Yeah, I didn't realize that we've really been taking advantage of the downtime between waves to do most of my gold running.
Right.
How far do people usually make it in terms of days?
Day 17, I'd say. The game ends at day 21.
Okay, so there's an actual end.
Yeah.
I just did not so good there. Lost a bunch of hearts.
Yeah, that happens a lot with the playtesters.
Alright, well, I will see how far I can make it. But in the meantime, do you have any plans for the game going forward?
At the rate it's going, I think we'll actually try to do a full release, or at least an update, because people seem to have really enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad to hear. So overall, your reception to the game has been positive?
Yeah, very positive compared to our last submission for the jam, which didn't do so well.
I see. Well, they can't all be winners. But yeah, it's a solid concept. I ended up making a tower defense game myself, so as I don't know, if you've been, I hope I'm not boring you with how often I end up plugging it.
No, it's fine.
Alright, let's see. Can I upgrade a turret? No, it's $800 to upgrade a turret. Wow, okay.
Yeah, but it's a huge upgrade, so it is worth it if you're if you can.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to say about the game? Any perhaps little known bit of trivia that you think would be fun for other people to know?
No, not really. We really tried to keep it simple so that we could polish it.
Yeah. Alright, that's totally cool. Well, do you have any shoutouts to any other people or projects that you'd like to promote?
Yes, No Worm and Ergi. Those are the other two developers on this game.
Right. Well, I'll be sure to pull up the itch.io page once more, because I would hope that they're credited on there, right?
Well, they're credited at the end of the game.
Okay, well, I don't think I'm making it that far.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about what some of your plans are for expanding on the game?
Probably at least one more enemy type, like different levels, maybe expanding on the mechanics, like maybe make it so you can cross between tracks or more than one enemy track and so on. Just like see what we can do to make it more interesting.
Alright, nice. Yeah, I figured more enemy types is usually on the roster for these sorts of things.
Hmm.
Oh, I realize this is a boss wave and I probably should have been putting all my shots into this guy, rather than trying to use it as an opportunity to catch in.
I'd recommend just cashing in at this point because the boss was a little bit overpowered.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so even if he makes it all the way to the end, it's basically just an opportunity to do a bunch of cash runs because he's only going to do one hit anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. I've made a couple other tower defense games that are visible on my itch.io page, and one of them kind of has a similar design. Actually, yeah, there are the boss tanks that would come every once in a while, but anyway, yeah, I had a similar thing with just like one ridiculously powerful boss. There was actually a version, an earlier iteration of the tower defense game that I made when I was much younger, and the enemy scaling was insanely hard. Like, people would get through 9 out of 10 waves, and they would be doing pretty well, and then the last wave of tanks would start to roll in, and they would just get utterly demolished because the health scaling was so much higher.
Right.
So it would always be pretty funny because I used to work at this technology camp where it would always be like kids playing the game and they'd be having a decent time of things and playing the game, and they're like, yeah, this is no problem, I got this. And then they get to that last wave and they're like, what's going on? Why are there so many of these? It's like dark blue tanks, that's what it was.
Right.
Hello, Excavator. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi. I do appreciate it. But yeah, so I think... Oh, I'm actually doing better than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I think you've done the best so far of everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got another boss to contend with here. Whoa, that golden turret really shreds through the enemies. Alright, I think the boss is just going to be a lost cause, but let's focus our fire on these other guys here. And we'll use the opportunity to cash in again. Well, I don't think I'm necessarily going to make it all the way to day 21, but is there anything in particular that I would be missing by seeing that? Like, is there a special end screen, or is it just like, thanks for playing, here's the credits?
It's just the credits and like the special end screen, but it's like just a newspaper article, so I wouldn't really put too much effort into it.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for coming on the stream today and for having this conversation with me. I really do like the art in the game. You did a great job on that. And yeah, the game's quite fun as well. I'm wondering if... Okay, I can use WASD as well. That's slightly easier. Oh, and you can use A and D as well. Okay, I was using up and down this entire time, and I was like, oh, I think it would be easier if you could move left and right instead, but you literally can. I just didn't try it. Alright, well, that was pretty much it in terms of what I had for feedback. I guess, other than feedback, I do have... Oh my goodness, I think this wave might be the end of me, but, you know, we'll see. Let's go ahead and drop at least one more turret. Whoa, oh, I see. You click to position... Okay, well, I died.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, yeah, I think that's just as well, because we're wrapping things up on the call. But all I was going to say is... one other thing that could be interesting is if you did have multiple track lines, then maybe you could introduce like one track which goes like a shortcut to the bank, but that could be damaged by enemies, and then you have to maybe invest in repairing it, whereas there's a longer track that goes maybe like over a bridge or something, and enemies can't damage it, but it's also slower, and you can't hit anything while you're over the bridge because there's no enemies nearby.
That's a really good idea. I'll definitely keep note of that. Thank you.
All right, I'm glad. It just happened to pop into my head. I'm like, this is interesting, but like, what else could you do with the train track? And that just happened to be a thing. So,
Yeah.
well, this is great timing because it's coming up on 8 o'clock where we've got our next scheduled game. But yeah, once again, Pixel, thank you so much for joining me, and maybe we'll talk again soon if you have another project you'd like to send my way.
Yeah, thank you so much for playing and the feedback. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye bye.